Good morning, everybody. I think everything's set up. Looking over at my stream, we're getting desktop, we're getting a microphone. I think we're all fine. Hope everybody's having a good day. They were able to wake up, get their coffee, maybe take a shower if that's what you do in the morning. But all right, let's get started with some Kerbalism. As a quick summary, last stream, which was a couple days ago, I don't remember if it was last stream or the stream before, but we attempted to launch something, a research vessel going around Kerbin. Didn't work out too well. And in fact, so we had to rebuild it using some fins at the bottom. The reason it didn't go so well is because there was like aerodynamic forces caused the second stage, after the solid rocket boosters fall off. The second stage just kind of flipped around constantly, and I couldn't get any control of it whatsoever. So what I had done was I put some fins on it. We launched that last stream. And actually just want to make sure that this is running. Okay, no storage, that's fine. In fact, let's go to config. Is supply, when a supply resource is low, when battery's low, reliability is low, I think we'll be fine. Go here, I just want to set this to a probe. Also, this needs to rotate to get battery. Okay. And I did set this to run, yeah? Was this not running the whole time? Or did it? I think it stopped, yeah. Okay, it turns itself on and off. So if we look here, up there, at our map, we're starting to get a visual scan of Kerbin. Right, that's fine. Now, around the Mun, this is a altimetry scanner. Yep. We just have a random research to do. It's just research probe, and we got that. And then that is just a piece of orbital debris. Okay, so I think I'm all caught up on what I'm doing, just to catch you guys up on what we're going to be doing today. My plan is to try and blitz a little bit of stuff around Minmus. The reason why I think we can achieve that is in the Space Center. If I go to the Research and Development area, we unlocked 2 new nodes last time. The first one is Space Exploration. This gives me access to the visual scanner. It's not super relevant for a Mun blitz. It also gives me access to a lot of probe parts, but I'm not going to be able to create some probes for a while due to some other reasons. Also, I unlocked the Electrics node, and this is what's going to give me access to Minmus, specifically because I get this HG20 high gain antenna. It has been modified to have an antenna rating of 80 megameters, which is enough to get to Minmus, which I believe is at like 40 million or 41 megameters, something like that. So it'll be more than sufficient to get to Minmus. However, in order to support that, we have to put a new relay up around Kerbin. I don't think that the HD5s that I have, which is an antenna rating of 20 megameters, is sufficient. Now, getting that relay up is actually going to be pretty easy. If I just open up one of my previous comm. In fact, what I would like to do first is, so can I just load in this? Awesome. So this is my B antenna, and I actually want to get rid of this shroud. And so this is my alpha antenna. This is what I currently have in orbit around Kerbin and the Mun. And I had these HG5s. I'm just going to pop those off, and I'll put on a couple of HG20s, which are just HG5s, just there's 4 of them. And ideally, I would like 3 of these just because of how my comm network is set up. I have a private, a public, and then I have like an individual channel that's specific to this relay. And in fact, that's what I'm going to try to do is I'll put 4 of them on here, and this doesn't look very good, so I want to try to make it better. Let's see if I can get those to pop off. Not pop off, but like stick out a little bit further. And I'm hesitant to make these stick out just for the simple fact that I always have issues deploying these. And then going along with that, I can also get rid of these and put on some HG, not HG, some of these photovoltaic cells. Yeah, that's what I like. I'm trying to think of a good place to put them. I mean, I guess here would be fine. Or maybe I'll put it on the short end. With these on the long end, they still don't look too good, but I grab them out like that. Yeah, I think that looks fine. There's still only 2 of them. I'd like to have at least 3. Which means this is a hex, yeah? So I get those to stick like that. And then the other ones, I'll just put some of these cells. So it's still like symmetrical. And now I just want to get these to line up. If I get it to line up so the center is there, it doesn't clip as much, I think that's what I would like. I just have to make sure that my fairing is out far enough that it's not going to destroy anything. And then I'm quickly going to go into here. This is going to be the 300 Kerbal public. And then I think we're still Kerbal, so 309 Kerbal private. And then this should be 302, which doesn't exist yet, so I'll just leave that blank. And that 302 is, it's a private channel around Kerbal that is specific to what is going to be the beta relay. And I do that specifically so that, not private, it's a public channel specific for the public relay, not for the beta relay. And that will allow like external clients, like something around Minmus, they can specifically focus in on the beta relay as what they would like to connect to, and that just ensures that, you know, if one of these HG20s can connect to the HG5s around Kerbal, they won't, because that would have a really low antenna rating. It'll reduce my signal strength down to like 3, 5%, 10%, something like that. And for Kerbalism, that is, you're basically just not getting any science data at all. So this looks like a good relay. Let me make sure force percent's down low. Got stuff there. Why is this not showing? Do I need to set use my route? There we go. Set you in vacuum. We're going to get 630 meters per second. It's more than fine for a relay, especially since we're going to have some deploy vehicle. And I hope that works out really well, for the simple fact that I always have issues with my deploy vehicles. I think every single deploy vehicle that I've tried has had an engine failure. But that is besides the point. So we have this, we have that. We don't need any data. We don't need any experiments. That's fine. I'd like you to be high quality engine. We don't need any data there. I'm only using this computer flight unit so I can get the Kerbal Engineer readouts. So it's going to be my beta ADM. Right. So if I go into here and load up one of my, I zoom past it. There's Mun Alpha Relay and Kerbin Alpha Relay cluster. I think it's the same vessel. No, slightly different. If you can get to the Mun, you can get around Kerbin, so. Let's just pop all these guys off. Take a few of my beta ADMs. Most likely going to be rebuilding this bearing. And because this sticks out so much, I think I need to put on like a battery or something. Will this let me get 4 of them? Or 3 of them? It won't. That's kind of annoying. I think 3 was just barely enough. Even that, I don't like it. I'll run a test and see if this will just clip through. Although with that being said, this first one isn't going to work anyway. It's going to get destroyed when the fairing pops off. So I can do a little, I think I can do a little cheaty thing. First off, into here, configure the vessel. I think we're now at COM 4. Dispenser. Don't even know if I spelled that right. And I'd want to say use my control point. And that'll just give me the ability to play around up here. So first thing I gotta do is I have to put a battery here, maybe even 2 batteries, just to make sure that bearing doesn't destroy this. The other ones I think will be fine. But you see, the problem is we can't put something up there. So if I remove you, pop a second one of these guys up here, and then I can put a third one up there. So now I got 3. It looks weird just because I have this second fairing, but I don't think it's super bad because I can build a fairing around the whole thing. Four sides, clamshell deployed on. This one. Yep, these are all properly set. What are you? Rigid. Grandparent. Rigid. Grandparent. Just trying to make sure this is, you know, I would say rigid, but as that is one of the little settings I have here, I don't know if that's a very good description. I don't want this to be every time, if I don't do this, then whenever I like press one of the arrow keys or WASD keys to rotate the vessel during launch, these things are like a wet spaghetti noodle and they just kind of fly around. But if I set it to rigid attachment, I don't know if it's rigid attachment, and I think I say this almost every stream. I don't know if it's rigid attachment or auto strut that prevents that from happening. I just set both, never have any problems. Root part, or should be grandparent part, but and this is set as well, right? So I think this is my Kerbin beta relay. Save that. I don't know if any changes need to be made because I didn't really change the weight of the vessel all that much. Yeah, it's a little bit taller, so we're going to get a few extra kilograms from the fairing. I have a second one of these fairing bases, which adds 75 kilograms. And we were already way over budget, so I think we'll be fine. What I would like to do, because I don't trust myself, some of these winglets on here. Let's see. These all run. This one, is it like fairing stage? Just no. And what I'll actually do is these should be set to not disable staging. I dispense these manually. I also disable, and what I will do is set your engine quality to high for the simple fact that this is what's going to be my dispenser vehicle, and it always, without fail, fails on me. So with fail, it fails on me. So hopefully engine quality high will fix that. What else am I trying to look at here? Get rid of you, make you compact, get you out of the way. So we're going to launch this stuff with a thrust weight of 1.5 or at sea level. And then afterwards it's going to give us 1200 delta V. Then within vacuum we're going to get another 1000. So 1200 plus 1000 is around 2500. We get around 3600. So this will give us 1000, it looks like. And what I'd like to do is that. So we'll get an extra 1000 there, and then we'll have 655 to get to where we're going. It's actually a lot less than what I thought we would have, because this was a relay that goes around Mun. So maybe I'm missing something here. Either way. So we need one of these to go around Kerbal, we need one of these to go around Minmus. Now the problem is Minmus takes around an extra 1100 delta V-ish to get to. And if this is going to take, 1200 plus 1000, it's not really going to be good. So what I would like to do, what is my vacuum delta V here, so we can actually make this stage a little bit bigger. Come on, there you go. It's a tall rocket. Okay, so sea level, we'll get 1.3. I'll increase this up a little bit. 1.4, 1000 delta V. Then in vacuum, we'll get an extra. So we didn't get all that much more. Now, is this a terrier? Yeah, it's a terrier. What I think I'll do, I'm playing around with this more than I'd like. So sea level, get 1000. Vacuum, get an extra 1200. So that'll put me up at like, what, 2200? Is that right? 2300-ish. Yeah, I think this will be fine. I'll run a quick simulation, just because I actually want to make sure that this fairing doesn't destroy stuff and that we have aerodynamic capability. And I think I also already have something on the build queue. I think it's the visual scanner for Mun. Don't know if I'll launch that today or if I would just want to stay focused on Kerbin or Minmus, but we'll see. Alright, launch successfully. Gonna go into an equatorial orbit, trying to get a goal of 80 kilometers, I'd say. Alright, so we are a little noodly. We're very noodly. Does this guy have grandparent parts? Let's shoot a part. Focused on my Apple apps. This is in my time 2 right now. Okay, that didn't properly set, but I don't think this is gonna work out too well. That first stage wasn't giving me enough oomph. Yeah, I'm gonna kill the simulation right now. First stage wasn't strong enough for me. So this might require the creation of a new... Let's see if I have a... This is my kitten launcher. That's what I was using right now. Okay. Might be time to replace these solid rocket boosters with something else. Could just put 4 of them on there. Okay, well I think the first thing I want to address is the noodliness. So that should address that. Vacuum. I mean, is the mass of these really that high? Anyway, I'll pop those guys off and I'll just... see how reliance would work. Right. So at sea level, this will give me really 2,000 at 1.3. Detach that, another like 600. But what I'm actually going to be doing is throttling down this swivel. Let's see what happens at sea level here. 1.2. It's a little low. Still a little low. Here we go, 1.3. 2,200. Plus an extra 500, 2,800-ish. And one thing I could do is come in here and this is going to make such a small difference to the amount of fuel, to the weight. Alright, so let's see. 2260. Plus around 500. 2,300 plus 500 is 2,800. Take an extra 600 from this. It'll give me about 1,000. But I'm actually going to get a little bit more because as this is going up, we'll get a little bit more fuel efficiency. It's not 100% accurate for the simple fact that I don't have the fuel lines. So I'm using this as my throttle. And speaking of which, independent, set that at 100%. Close enough. Alright, let's see how well this plays. I can already see a problem. You do something like that. This is all fine. Alright, we launched fine. And in a few seconds, I guess I'll see how spaghetti-like I am. Right, it's much more rigid. Alright, let's let my Apple app just catch up to me a little bit more. Alright, we have a good fairing deployment. None of my antennas were clipped off. Yeah, I think we'll be more than fine with this rocket. We're almost in orbit. And I still got 1600 Delta V left. Let me just make sure we get into orbit. Yeah. 1600 Delta V left. That's more than enough to get to min-miss. More than enough to get into an orbit around min-miss. Deorbit this when we're done. Deploy all those things. So I'll create 2 builds for this rocket. One for Kerbin, one for save. Show hide the build list. Plans. Build it. Then I'll create a comm number 5 for min-miss. Build that one. Yep. So the first one that we're building is this Research 5B MunViz. This is the visual / biome scanner around Mun. After this is done building, I might just leave it in the VAB until maybe next stream or the stream after, because I'd like to focus more on min-miss for this one. And so what I'll do is I would like to... Okay, let's see. I want to get an altimetry and a visual scanner around min-miss. I can probably do that in a single launch. I'm going to have my relay for min-miss. I'm going to do that in its own launch. And then I'd like to maybe create a set of landers, which I can probably just copy the ones that I had for Mun. That's what I'd like to do. So the first half of this stream is probably just going to be focused on building, and then the second half I'll focus in on the actual launches and getting everything sent over. In the meantime, work to complete for this. This is just reconditioning from a previous launch. Blah, blah, blah. Work to complete for the Mun visual, and I'm just going to leave this in the VAB, or wherever, you know, Kerbal Construction Time deems that this gets stored. I don't think it actually gets stored in the VAB. It might. I don't know. And then I want to see how long this is planned to take. Because this is the estimated for the min-miss beta relay is 23 days, so... 21 days. Okay. Alright, so while that's building, and it's not like it's going to build anytime fast, my next step is going to be a visual scanner as well as an altimetry scanner. And so I have some research vessels already planned out. Well, not planned out, but created for Kerbin and Mun. So that's what this 4A and 4B are. So what I like to do is... Yeah, I might just make a new one, because I don't need these photovoltaic cells anymore. So start out with my standard hex. Let's go communication. Put a couple of these guys on there. Put a couple of those on there. And let's go into science. I'm going to do altimetry first. Get a couple batteries. Still not a huge fan of that, but pop those up a little bit, and then the last thing is we're going to get our pug. And get rid of the strap. Really don't like that, so I'll just put one more battery, I guess. Yeah, much better. Still doesn't look very good, but now how much energy? Visual scanner uses 0.8 and altimetry uses 1, so I'll just say 1 is what I'm trying to beat. This thing can generate 1.6, so both of these together will generate enough to fully satisfy everything. I'll just set these antennas up real quick. This one will go to 300, Kerbal Public. Well, this one's going to be the one that stays. No, because both of these are going to min-miss. No, 320. Min-miss private. Yeah. So I think this is the first one. Super simple build. I would like to put on some of these. Shoot their capacity all the way up. Shoot your capacity all the way up. Configure the unmanned experiments to get rid of them. Right. I don't know if configuring these actually does anything at this point. So I have electricity, I have storage, I have signal, I have my experiment, I have propulsion. I think that's everything that I need. Kind of like that one, just because the little squiggly looks like a signal from like an oscilloscope or something. Yeah, that's the one that I'll pick. Right. And this is going to be my alt air. It was just a name that I had generated for me, because it has alt for like altimetry and then air. I don't know, just make it look sound simple. So alt air. B, I think is what I'll refer to this, because A was the one that went around Kerbal, and I think what I sent around the Mun. Right, so that's the alt air. Can throw that away. Go into my science and just get the multispectral scanner. You only need one of them. And when this thing opens up, that's what opens up. Just make that centered a little bit. And this one I think I called my Inferno. Oh, can I not rename that? No. Inferno B, low vis. What was I doing? Oh, I was trying to rename this. Yeah. There. E. Low out. I don't know if I'm set on this naming. I like having the low out just so I know it's low altitude, but I'll try to fix that in a bit. Alright, let's put these on a launcher vessel. I think I might be able to just take the same research or same communication thing that I have up here and move this top section. Move that. Put on this low vis one. Put on the low out one. Delete the fairing, building and fairing. This top one is fine. I would like to rotate this one a little bit just so it looks better, like 5. Alright, so we got a research scanner package. I think that's fine. I might be able to go back to my kitten launcher. Let's just see what happens. Alright, so at altitude 1300. Vacuum, we get an extra 1200, so that's 2500. Want to do that. 1300. It's actually a little bit in between, but yeah. So 1300 plus 1200 plus 1000. Yeah, this should be fine to get to min-miss. It'll be a little bit of a stretch. And once again, because I don't trust myself, I'll put on some of these fins. Right, so this package should be fine. What I would like to do is just make sure that these are set to root part. I think that'll be fine setting it to the root part. I can just set the root part to you. Alright, so the month scanner package is done. Let's add that to my build list. I just triple check. So we launch everything. We're gonna have a high thrust to weight ratio. Here we go. Okay, so I'll have a fine thrust to weight ratio. This one will have a nice thrust to weight ratio once we reach vacuum. Yep. Dispense those. Engine quality. Then we dispense those. I could just double check and make sure that, yeah, I'll run a quick simulation. I just want to make sure the fairing doesn't destroy orbit. I don't want the fairing to destroy my solar panels. Not my solar panel, well, my solar panels or my antennas. Barely see anything. Right. We can see it happening. It's fine. When it happens in real life, it Why am I missing one of the vessels? What happened to my other... Where did the visual scanner... What? I didn't delete it, did I? Oh, I've been... Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so we got the visual scanner there, so let's get another... So we have it there. I swear I saw it was... I built the fairing around it. Okay, that's relevant at this point. Oh, whatever. Yeah, because I think my delta V was based around having it existing. We got the multispectral and we got the altimetry. Gonna get around 13, I'll say 1400 plus that, around 2400. It'll be a little bit higher just because that. Yep, we should be fine there. Maybe I accidentally just took it off. I don't know. Disable staging. Okay, so this is fine for me. Plans, build. Okay, and the next thing that I wanted to do was get a set of landers. Where did I put the landers? This is the money. We got 3 small landers. I don't know if these need to change at all. So at sea level we got 1300 plus an extra 1200 about, yeah. Just 2500 plus 2000. How did this get to the MUN? Am I like calculating things wrong? 1300, 1200 is 2500. When I'm going to the MUN, well, first off, in order to get into a low Kerbin orbit, you need about 34 to 3600 depending on how you're launching. This was 2500, so we need 1000 delta V from this, which then leaves me with 1100 delta V. Did I just barely have enough delta V to accomplish what I was doing? What happens if I put you down there? I get like an extra 200 delta V. Okay, whatever. This works for the MUN, it'll work for Minmus. Alright, so I got a few things on my list here. And I think that's everything that I wanted. So I'm going to put a relay around Kerbin, going to put a relay around Minmus. I'm then going to send the scanners to put those around Minmus. And then finally I'm going to send some landers to land on Minmus. Could send something over with a magnetometer boom on it, but I think 4 missions, and being that got about an hour left in the stream, 4, we might not even get to all of these, so I think for now you know, what I have is sufficient. Right, So the first step is a relay around Kerbin. Now these things have a much higher range, so they can be at a higher altitude than this. The problem is I don't know what altitude would give me an appropriate period. I think these guys have a period of 1.5 hours, which is just barely higher than the the surface of Kerbin. I think I want to go for an orbital period of around 3 hours. So I can quickly just look this up on my phone. Alright, just gonna go on Google, type in an orbit period calculator, resonant orbit calculator, that's fine. So what are these guys' altitude? 777 kilometers, so let's just start with 1,000,000. It's an hour, 52 minutes. 1.5, it's 2 hours 40, 1.6, 3 hours, so 1.6 million. Anyway. Our visual around Kerbin looks like it's done at this point. Did we complete that contract? Yeah. Okay, what about, how much science did we get from that? 30. So we got like 10, I got like 10 science. Huge bump. Okay, so we want to launch our COM4 Kerbin beta relay. What's going on? Why is this taking so long? Oh, maybe I accidentally clicked on it twice. Right, let's hope there's no failure in this. Which, now that I just said that, there's going to be a big failure in this. Alright, quick save. Our goal is 1.6 megameters. Oh, engine failure. That's a little depressing. Oh man, Kerbalism really gets you. Okay, guess I'll have to build a new one. Okay, I think I learned my lesson. One thing that I would like to attempt is, instead of just straight launching it, maybe what I'll do is I'll turn the engines on and then I'll quickly press stage again, and that will detach it from everything. Let's see if I can just recover everything. Luckily, we didn't destroy the launch pad. But yeah, that was a little annoying. I'll have to queue up another one. I'm trying to think. Can my I can't do the math in my head. I was trying to see if I was trying to see if a beta relay around Minmus could communicate with an alpha relay around Kerbin. I think it can make a connection. Alright, what am I looking for? Kerbin. Yep, more alpha relays. Just gonna have to schedule another one of these to build. Grab. Plans, build, close. Right. Because I really want to get to Minmus today. Okay. And I'll just make sure I adjust the staging when I actually get to the point where I'm launching this. I noticed it's a 5-hour reconditioning. I wonder if that's because normally it's only around 2 hours, something like that. So I'm wondering if it detected that there was like an explosion or something collided with it, and it's increasing the reconditioning time. I don't know if it's that smart though. Little upsetting that I had that engine failure. Right, Kerbal relay. Alright, let's try this one more time. Oh, I'm gonna have to roll it out again, aren't I? Yeah. COM4, Kerbal beta relay. Roll that out. At least we'll get a daytime launch. Launch. Right. Double check my staging, make sure I put the start the engines shortly before. In case there is a failure, I'll stay connected to this and I can recover the whole thing, and it'll be a little bit more forgiving. Right, no failures. I'm feeling a small amount of torque on this. As I'm trying to pitch over, I notice that it turns to the right. Alright. First stage has been decoupled. Well, I mean, I think technically I'm still on the first stage. Side boosters have been decoupled. My goal now is to get my time to apoapsis at about 1 minute. Which we're above it, so I'm going to reduce this a little bit. And orbital velocity at 80 kilometers is about 2,600. I think I might be able to just boost all the way up to 1.6 megameters. I'm actually going to stop accelerating, time accelerating, because we're going to be going to the next stage now. Let's go really slowly so I can detach you. Good separation. Now let's go up to our final altitude. And just want to make sure that I have a connection. Five. Right. That's about 1.6. Right. So quick save that. Now, is this my... I don't know what that is. Where's my constellation? Oh, maybe I can't... There we go. Right. Constellations. New constellation. This is going to be... Kerbin. Private, or no, it's public. Public beta. This is 302. So 301 is technically the alpha channel, but none of my alpha relays actually have a third antenna that can communicate on it. So I'm just going to skip over it and just go straight to beta. Right. I hate that every time I press B, even if I'm like typing a name for something, it causes the Kerbalism body info to show up. It's kind of annoying. Alright, so that should be fine there. Let's come in here. Now one of these antennas is unset, yeah. So 302. Alright, and who are you talking to? Kerbin Public. Okay. I'll extend those two. And actually for this top one, I can just extend everything. All right. So my goal now is to get to apoapsis, increase my periapsis to about 2 hours, because that's 2/3 of 3 hours, which means that my injections and dispenses will be appropriate. And then I can release these things. I've already done this twice before, so I'm not going to spend way too much time on it. Wish I put some little lights on there. Do I even have... I don't know if I have lights yet. Still so early on in this career. And this doesn't have to be exact. Anything relatively close would be sufficient. All right, 159.59. I'm happy with that. Now, hate that I'm in the dark. Part, configure, lower that down, set it to relay. I think it's cur beta 001. Is that how I've been naming these things? Kercom alpha. Kercom alpha, Kercom beta 001. Okay. And they just use 2 digits. Still pointing towards apoapsis, so what I need to do is couple you, transition over to you. My engine slowly just separate so I'm not destroying everything. Let's extend my solar panel. Right, we got ourselves a nice looking relay antenna, a relay satellite. Goal here is 3 hours. Right. "30 seconds left. Couldn't tell if that was a 6 or a 9 just because the way the little background of the dot was hitting it. So I'll have to make it a slight adjustment. Right. So this one is fine. Has the right name. See how well we did. I go into maneuver, approach. We're at about 120 degrees, so we're good. Like to come into U, configure the vessel. You're going to be Beta 2, you're a relay. Put that down. And I'll just update you. Beta 3, relay. Where is my coupler? Guess these things don't stay up. Oh, I way overshot it. Was not paying attention. It's weird how when the sun goes over the horizon, there's like that orangish, reddish flash. I know that's something with scatterer, but just seems a little awkward to me. Oh, I ran out of fuel. That's good to know. So this guy's not going to be perfect. And what I'll actually do is I'm going to quickly write down my orbital period, and I'm going to just update the other two to match it. So 3 hours, I'll just write it over here. 3 hours, 5 minutes, 50.971 seconds. Otherwise, they're going to be slightly off, and it's going to cause some issues. All right, so switch to you. 5 minutes, 50 seconds, 971. Yeah, because this guy's already got a little bit less fuel. Five minutes, 50 seconds. It's just... a little disappointing, but, you know, the exact 3 hours thing, it's not like a hard rule. 5 minutes, 50 seconds. So we're at 4 minutes. 5 minutes, I'll stop time accelerating. And 971 fractions. So we're at the 9, 2, 3, 4. 973. Right, 971. And you'll notice that they don't have the exact same orbit. That's also fine. They'll wiggle a little bit relative to each other, but on average it'll stay at about an orbital phase angle of 120. It might go to like 110 up to 130. It's not a huge issue, especially because we're so far away from Kerbin. That little wiggle won't result in the, well, it shouldn't, depending on how far off your phase angles are. It won't result in the communication line going through the atmosphere. So it's a little disappointing I wasn't able to get it perfect, and I'll have to keep that in mind for when I'm going to min-miss. Okay, so this one actually has to rotate a certain way because I deployed some of the solar panels. Yeah. Decouple. Gotta rotate this way. Three hours, 5 minutes. Let's not overshoot this time. Alright, we're at 3 hours, 1 minute. Alright, 5971. All right, 4, 5. It's just slow counting at this point. All right, 972. That's fine. All right. So all these have slightly different orbits, but if I select them as targets, I go here, we're at 109. I can't select the other one as my target. Here we go. Set as my target. We're at 130. So yeah, it'll be like plus or minus 10, something like that. I'll have to see how it works out. All right. And then the final thing we can do with this is switch to U and deorbit this. Okay. Let's go into our builder. Oh, whoops. Oh no, did I enter the atmosphere? Oh, now we gotta watch this happening. Oh. It survived. Oh, we're gonna land near the KSC. Completely unplanned. Let's see if anything survives. You know, earlier in this stream we had that one probe core where you land on its head and the whole rocket survives, so I don't expect anything because we're traveling really fast, but yeah, it was wishful thinking. But yeah, in one of the first streams I had a sounding rocket landed directly on the Stay Putnik and the entire thing survived. Okay, anyway, let's go to tracking station. Hope to complete. Oh, this is reconditioning. Right, it's going to take another 16 days. This is all the active ones, really? And there's a lot of connections coming here. Right. Go to VAB, min-miss beta relay, roll that out. Right, that's at the launch pad. We're up at 37 science, so something is coming in. Now, one thing I need to start thinking about is I'm sending all these like permanent landers and relays to go around these bodies. I do have the missions for Mun and Minmus to go there, land, and come back. Now, getting a crewed vehicle to do that, I think at this point would be extremely difficult. And when it comes to Kerbalism, the most that I have actually done was have a Kerbal go into orbit for like 30 days or something. And I didn't even have a Kerbal construction time influencing that. I don't like the idea of risky Kerbal launches. So it'll most likely be some kind of probe lander that goes there and then lands because it's the lander and then come back. So that's one thing that I'll try to think about over the weekend. But in the meantime, this is my beta relay that's going to go to Minmus. It'll be, I think, the first vehicle that goes there. So hopefully, fingers crossed. And when I say that, it means something's going to go wrong. Right? Got good engines. This is the exact same rocket that we had just launched. Okay, good thrust away. I'm going to try to keep this hovering around 2-ish. And because I'm going to have a transfer to Minmus, I want to keep my apoapsis at about 80 kilometers, 82. 100 kilometers would be best. Alright, now that I've detached my side boosters, my goal is to get my time to apoapsis to hover around 1 minute. Just like that. Now just continue like this until my apoapsis is at 80 kilometers. Alright, my apoapsis just reached 80 kilometers. The stage is about to finish. Got a nice sunrise, actually. And set that low. We have good fairing deployment. Gonna keep this. How much burn time do I have on this? 23 minutes. This is gonna be my transfer stage. I'll cut it off now. This guy. Cancel. Extend. And I just realized I'm probably going to have to adjust all these antennas to point to the correct constellations, but I'll do that later. Antenna setup. Yeah, because this is set up to public. I wanted like 322. These don't really need public, so what I would like to do is set this to 300. I'll set this to 302, go to the Kerbal public beta. I'll set this to be 302, Kerbal public beta, and this will be 320, 329, Minmus private. don't want to pass my apoapsis. Almost forgot about it. And our next destination is Minmus. Alright, so Minmus is over there, so I think launching it about here would be best. Right, that'll be more than sufficient for what I'm trying to get here. I'll have to have an adjustment burn, but no. All right, approaching. Way overshot it, but that's fine. The adjustment burn will capture any changes I need to make. Adjustment will be here. Just kind of pick the random spot. The goal is to be equatorial. Right, that looks fine for me. And what I'll do is I'll come here and change my thrust limiter. Is this the one that has two antennas in it, or is it only the one? I think it only has the one. Yeah. Okay, so we're on our way. Oops, way overshot that. But it's not important. It was an arbitrary point. Should still be fine. I don't think we're equatorial, but at least we're going. At least I'm going around the right side. I think I just need to burn normal. We'll be fine. Right, that looks perfect to me. Now, when we get there, our periapsis will be fine. Don't have to worry about being occluded. And once again, I don't know what a good orbit would be. So let me just play around in one of these orbital calculator things. Now, I think the radius around Minmus is like 60 kilometers or something, so I have to be at least 60 kilometers, but let's see what 300 kilometers does. That's 8 hours, so maybe not. Try 120 kilometers. 3 hours, so maybe 110 kilometers. It's just over 3 hours, just under 3 hours, so it'll be 115? Yeah. So about 115 kilometers. So 115 kilometers is going to be my goal. $112. I think 114 is actually the ideal number for me. So where to just get my... Oh yeah, there it is. There we go. So 114. I'm not going to get it exact, but I think now all I got to do is wait until I get there, which is like a 7-day journey. And before I do anything else, let's see. Minmus private, yeah. So I need to set all my other antennas to Minmus private. And then set this to 302. Yeah. And oops. The reason I got to do that is as I am dispensing these things, if I don't have a proper connection back to Kerbin, I won't be able to control them. And I think even this is a little bit risky because the only one that can technically reach Kerbin is this top one, which I'm dispensing first. And so if when I am dispensing these two, if this one is, being occluded by, that's not Minmus, that's the Mun. If it's being occluded by Minmus, I think it will actually prevent me from being able to communicate. So that'll be a little bit interesting to figure out what's going on. Once I get a second one up, there won't be any issues at all. The cool thing is this is like a 7-day journey, so as I'm doing that, my next thing should be building down. Yeah. Can I just remove you? Okay. Yeah, 6 more days to get there. Still have a solid connection. think this is the first time. Yeah, this is the first time I ever got around Minmus. So initiated first flyby Minmus 14,000 funds. I don't think any of these guys have any science on them. Which does this guy? Oh yeah, free science. Alright, so my goal here is to almost get this exact, yeah. Apps is at 114. Alright, so now when I'm at my apoapsis, I need to reduce this to 2 hours. Should be about that. Will I have connection? Ooh, that's going to be risky. This might be just like a fly-by-wire kind of thing. Because when I go behind... Oh, just barely. Oh, thank goodness I have the mun. Because the mun's so far off center. I can connect through the mun with like a 44% signal strength. And once again, this doesn't need to be exact either. Just need to get this to about 2 hours. Right, activate that engine. Pop it a little bit. Gonna have to deploy some solar panels to get that charged up, but it's gonna be way too thrusty for me. And 3 hours is my goal. Come on, go way too long. Oops. Oh, okay. Still focused on prograde custom problems. Here we go. 3 hours exact. Perfect. Yes, on you, I will just extend solar panel. you. Come on out. Come on. There we go. Just ease your way out. Right, this is going swimmingly. Alright, we're at 9/10 of a second now. Anything beyond this is basically just brownie points. I'm just so close, I'm like feathering it. Right. 1/1000th of a second will be fine. Alright, last step is just deorbit this. And while I was doing all that, we only have 11 days left on my scanners. Right. And let's see what happens if I use my target 120. So if I set you as my target 124. The orbits aren't perfect, but I think, once again, I think it'll work. Right, let's go to the Space Center and prepare to launch my scanners. Now, might have to push that off until next stream. I just noticed the time. It's 8:26. I only got about 4 minutes left. What I'll do... I don't want to do anything off stream. Off stream, I'm just going to go through and clean a few things up. Because one, I noticed some things, like around the MUN for example, are communicating with Kerbin directly. I don't like that. They should be communicating with the MUN alpha relays. So I'm going to fix that. I'm also, I think I've said this like 3 streams in a row now, but I'll dedicate some time to go through and clean up all the naming, because even like the relays around Minmus, they're not named correctly. And then what I'll do is I'll time accelerate until the Minmus scanner package is complete, and then I haven't decided if I wanted to time accelerate until the Minmus landers are complete. So I might do, one. I'll definitely time accelerate one of them. I'll think about time accelerating the second one. Now, if I leave this facility and I take a quick look at, I have 51 science. Also try to plan a small little roadmap going forward, because I think I'm going to be spending a lot of time around the MUN and around Minmus collecting some of this science. I can probably fill out this entire 90 science, the entire tech tree up to this point. I can probably fill that whole thing out, just the MUN and Minmus, collect a few of these, more advanced things. In order to get those, 160 research, I would need to upgrade my science center. How much does that even cost? It costs a lot of money, so I'd have to do a few contracts to be able to do that. So yeah, I'm going to be spending a little bit of time around the MUN and Minmus Kerbin. Probably not next stream. Next stream, I would like to finish out the Minmus missions that I had planned. I'd like to send the visual and the altimetry, the visual scanner over to the MUN. So that's another small little contract that I can do. And then, as far as roadmap, I'd like to get into crude relatively soon. Not like super advanced crude, but something around Kerbin. Work on like a small little station maybe, just to get some persisted crew around Kerbin. I would need to have some kind of tug vehicle that can move things between Kerbin and Minmus and the MUN. That's another thing that I'd like to work on. So I'll try to work on a small little roadmap just so I have, a direction that I'm going to be working in over the next few streams. But with that being said, let me just try to find like a nice little thing that I can have loaded up. Maybe something around Minmus. One of these has to be... Let's hop over to you. Actually, what I'll do is I'll hop over, and this is completely irrelevant. I'm going to hop over to the vehicle that is about to crash, and we can just slowly watch it crash as the stream comes to a close. It's going to be crashing at the night side. not even going to be fun. Okay, I was hoping I could watch this crash, but it looks like it's just going to be the night side. Anyway. Appreciate anybody that tuned in for the stream. Appreciate anybody that's watching this afterwards. If you have any suggestions or comments, feel free to leave a comment on the video. I'll be sure to look at it, read it, and respond to it. But yeah, have a good day.